Ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive event ahead of us, and I don't believe there's much time left. Please like and share this video, follow me on X at AMTV Media, and get this message out to your friends and family. I want to thank you so much because several weeks ago I put out a video which is proven to be what is actually happening now in our global financial markets. And we talked about an unraveling of fixed income and the bond markets, which are then now translating from Japan into the United States. That video, because of you, received well near 3 million views, and I believe saved a lot of people financial ruin, maybe even, who knows, saved their lives. Now we have every major financial figure and billionaire in the world parroting that exact same message. Most notably, Jamie Dimon was just on camera in an interview and said that the US government needs to be stockpiling essentially tools for the military-industrial complex. He warned that our bond markets are blowing up and the debt is too big. Then just yesterday, Elon Musk drops a bombshell on Congress and essentially calls and labels the US government and our houses a complete abomination in regards to the big, beautiful bill, the triple B, the BBB, pointing out the fact that the debt cycle is absolutely unsustainable and will end in collapse. Couple this with other leading figures from Bridgewater and Associates, my dear friend Ray Dalio, who is also warning of a complete debt implosion here in the States that will trickle across Western nations as any smart government no longer wants to own our bonds and is aggressively selling US debt. Guys, this is absolutely the biggest financial truth and transition that we have ever lived through in world history. But here's what's important. What's important, number one, is that you get this information out. And number two is that you prepare for what's ahead, not just to survive these coming events, but to actually thrive and prosper, and more importantly, protect you, your own, your family, your businesses, your kids, your parents, your grandparents, your churches, and the people that you care about. I believe, in my opinion, we are being set up for not just the greatest wealth transfer in world history, but a complete economic, financial, transitionary period and collapse that will reset the system into a new standard. I've been warning about this passionately for going on almost 20 years now, since I started this channel and started promoting, teaching, and recommending things like Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies. Now with the massive stablecoin legislations and legislation moving through Washington, D.C., it's become a lot more clear to the masses how they've been set up, how this was all one big setup into the change. And many Americans are now starting to finally realize, which is something that we've all been saying here for a very long time, that cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and blockchain is not just the currency of the future to replace the US dollar, but in addition to that, it's the currency of AI, artificial intelligence. I warned yesterday, along with other major figures, that unemployment in the United States, the Americas, and the westernized world will sit at 10 to 20% within less than 1 to 3 years. That real rates of unemployment and underemployment as a result of the robotic, artificial intelligence, blockchain, reset, digital, Bitcoin, crypto age would be more like 50+%. So there's a big problem happening right now, June 4th, 2025, and I want you to take action. I pray that you would share this out to the people that you really care about, that you know have eyes to see and ears to listen. A couple major bullet points of record that I want us all to notate here. Trump tweeted earlier today on True Social, or put out this information on his own platform, absolutely thrashing Jerome Powell. And I want you to read this to you. He says the ADP number is out, too late, too little. Powell must now lower the rate, referring to our interest rates. He is unbelievable, he says. Europe has already lowered 9 times. Now, I've been watching Japan as I travel to Japan quite frequently. As you know, my father's married to a beautiful Japanese woman. And I love Japan. It's an amazing place, amazing food, amazing culture. It's just a wonderful place to be, very friendly, strong culture, very clean. I mean, I joke, best toilets in the world, but it really is true. But I have been watching the financial markets with all my expertise. Again, you know, I came from Wall Street years ago, having worked for Merrill Lynch and largely predicted the 2008 and 09 financial crisis. So my eyes have always been on fixed income, the bond market, and yields. And what has scared me, quite honestly, and the reason I put out that video just a few weeks ago that was shared all across the internet, was because we've seen Japanese yields skyrocket from 0 and negative to over 3% in an astonishing amount of time. Now, the average person that isn't a financial expert, or that, you know, might not be studying things like Ray Dalio and others, might not understand what that means. Well, basically, this huge carry trade is unwinding. And all the cheap yen that was borrowed to then buy our market here in the States, buy Wall Street, hedge funds, and private equity, is now unraveling. And as our rates have not been cut, which Donald Trump is warning about, which will only cause more inflation either way. If they don't cut inflation, if they cut hyperinflation. So again, no one's getting out of the debt reset. That's going to happen no matter what, which is why they're setting you up into Bitcoin. But the point is, this whole system of economics, of the old epic and the old era of financial strength and hegemonic petrodollar order, is done. Finished. And this is not your parents, even, or your grandparents' economic war. This is completely different. The global disorder that we are now witnessing on the front of what I would argue are 3 major geopolitical conflicts should honestly keep you up at night, especially if you're not prepared. The smartest people in the world know what I know, and they are honestly panicking out of fiat currencies. They're importantly panicking out of the US dollar, and they're buying as many real assets as they can, like gold, silver, real estate. I mean, this is why I built this for our members and for our family and friends and our churches, is because we know what's coming. We know that the financial elites set up, and really, I mean, to be blatant, conned the American people. They've been conned. They were set up into a massive financial bubble of the last 20, 30, arguably longer years, much of the baby boomer generation. Now they've got a pen and they are going to pop that bubble. But the question that the American people and you tuning in worldwide need to ask is, well, what are they going to do with it next? And how do they reset the system, and where are they going to move government's power and influence towards? Well, here's what's so massive, because all glory to God, another one of my predictions actually came true earlier today. Elon Musk, I believe, will confirm very soon, as he's been lashing out at Congress, and even to some extent, I think, vocalizing some frustration with the Trump administration. But I do think Trump is, really doing the best he can here. I mean, guys, it's not easy to negotiate a corrupt system, a absolute swamp. Okay, so look, I mean, this ain't perfect, but we need to listen to what Musk is saying here. Musk responded to Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, which is now a member of the S&P 500 and the most popular and significant, really well-regulated exchange in the world for Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. They just announced futures markets, et cetera, and you'll even be able to trade tokenized stocks very soon, which I've been teaching about for a long time. But Coinbase CEO said this, he says, quote, if the electorate doesn't hold Congress accountable to reducing the deficit and start paying down the debt immediately, Bitcoin is going to take over as the world reserve currency. He says, I love Bitcoin, but a strong America is also super important for the world. We need to get our finances under control. And Elon Musk responds to this with basically a head nod, a yes, and the motif of the American flag. I believe not just Donald Trump, who's already announced this, but I believe really the most powerful man in the world, Elon Musk, is about to announce a major reset into Bitcoin. I believe he's going to use all of his power, his political, social, economic, and inventive corporate interests to basically move full force ahead. I think people like him are tired of the current system, and I think that they're going to reset it now forcefully. And I believe that Bitcoin and crypto will move essentially infinitely up against the US dollar as the fiat currency collapses. And in coordination with the Trump administration, will reset us into a new US dollar stablecoin initiative, which they're passing now through the Genius Act, and Cynthia Lummis and others are pushing forward this new legislation as we speak to move us to a new currency. This will have profound ramifications and implications on your life. This will be the biggest fourth, fifth industrial revolution moment and epic in world history. This will massacre the middle class as a result of the debt that can't be paid back, and is going to transfer enormous amounts of power and wealth into very few hands. This, I believe, is the reset. And I believe it is happening right now. And I know wholeheartedly, as I've been convicted for near 20 years, telling you to buy Bitcoin, educating around the entire world, evangelizing basically for this new tech, because I understood, along with many of you, that this was the generality of where the system was headed. In the coming days, weeks, and months, I expect massive hyperinflation worse than you've ever witnessed in your entire life. I believe that the political, geopolitical disruptions will be enormous. Vladimir Putin warned today that he will retaliate and, quote, respond to the aggressive attack in Moscow that took out 40 large aircraft and took out and derailed up to at least 2 trains. As Donald Trump works negotiations with Iran and also a trade deal on China, I believe during this disruptive event, this is when they will usher in the digital reset. Ladies and gentlemen, it is so key that you get out of the US dollar now. It is absolutely, I believe, life-threatening to move your money outside of the banks now. You need to be in real assets. You need to be in privately controlled ecosystems like the Island Project. You need to be joining forces with like minds, leading faith first and God first. But more importantly, you can't just be on defense. You need to get on offense. How do you do that? Number one, you get your money out of the banks. 2, you buy physical assets and stuff like gold and silver. 3, you buy Bitcoin. It is the reset. Don't even take my advice. Listen to what Elon Musk is telling you. 4, buy private real estate ecosystems like the digital Noah's Ark that have no bank debt, that produce cash flows in any environment and any currency, that have large capital gains over a long period of time, and that also are tokenizing into the blockchain reset. Educate yourself, share content like this, leave me a comment, and share this worldwide. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there's not much time left. The reset that they've warned you about is happening now. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. I am General Greene. It is an absolute honor. Thank you for sharing. I'm praying for all of you. There is a solution, but you've got to act on it. Contact my father at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Fill out an app. You can roll over your retirement accounts. We accept ACH, wire transfer, and more importantly, we also accept crypto. Talk to Papa John about that. We just closed on Trump Tower, Waikiki, our 6th no bank debt acquisition. Properties 7 and 8 will be announced soon as we expand all across Southeast Asia, Thailand, and also the East and West coasts of America. I love you very much. You are the resistance, and to God be the glory. Links below and up here. See our terms.